Hi, Chef Mark here from Mark's Easy Kitchen. Today I'm preparing cabbage rolls. Now, cabbage rolls are very easy to make. They're a bit time consuming, but they're very easy, and I'm going to show you how to make them. Now, the first thing you'll need is a container to put them in. There's three different types of containers that you could use. Well, there's actually several you could use, but these three are just an example of what you could use. I'll be using the one on the left. That one works for me. The one in the middle is the one that my mom has always used for years, and that works good too. It's like a little chicken roaster. So anyways, let's go over our ingredients. The first thing I have is a couple of packages of beef. They add up to just a little bit more than about a pound and a half. I also have a cabbage. It's about medium size. It's about 7 inches in size. And I have a couple of cans of tomato soup, or you can use tomato juice if you like. I have one diced medium-sized onion, one egg, I have a cup of raw rice, uncooked rice, and then some salt and pepper. Okay, so those are all our ingredients. Now I'm going to take my cabbage, and the first thing I'm going to do is cut the end off it, about maybe ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch. And then I'll take a smaller knife and I'll cut around the core. I don't have to remove the core. I just want to cut around the core to loosen up all the leaves. So when it comes time to pull them off, they'll pull off very easily. Now I've got my water boiling over here on the stove, so I'm going to put my cabbage in there. Just be careful when you put your cabbage in that you don't splash and burn yourself, because it's going to be very hot, obviously. Now the cabbage, I'm going to leave it in there with a lid on about maybe 5 or 6 minutes. I have it about maybe a third full of water. It's not half full. It's a little bit less than half full of water. And I'm just going to steam the leaves off. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, and once I steam the leaves off, I'll start rolling up my cabbage rolls. In the meantime, I'm going to mix my ingredients together. I'll mix up my beef. And by the way, you can use beef and pork. You can use just pork, just beef. I'm just using beef today. I'm going to be using my beef, my diced onion, my uncooked rice, and my salt and pepper, and my egg. I'm going to bind everything together, mix it up real good, and set that aside. And then once we get our leaves out of the pot, we'll start putting cabbage rolls together. Okay. So anyways, I have my cabbage rolls right here. I have my leaves. So what you do is you take your leaf, you just pull it off out of the pot there, just gently, just use a pair of tongs or whatever you can use, and or a fork or something, just kind of pry it out of there. If it's not quite cooked, just turn the cabbage over a little bit and let the top cook a bit for a couple of minutes, then turn it back again. You don't want it to completely cook. Just want to make sure the leaves are nice and pliable. So anyways, you got your leaves. We got the hamburger here, the meat. And so what I'm going to do is just I'm going to cut off that little spine, that little rib right there on the leaf, because that actually makes it easier to roll. You don't have to do that. I just find it's easier to roll. Then I just turn the leaf around on the thin spot, and I just put my beef in there, and I just leave a little, maybe a 1-inch gap around each edge, and just roll it up like you would a burrito, and just fold it over, just roll it like that, and that's all there is to it. And you don't need very much beef. I think I'm probably using maybe a few ounces. I got this black spoon here. I might be using maybe, I'm guessing, about 3 ounces of beef. That's all I'm using. That seems to work well. And I should mention, by the way, also that when you have your cabbage, you may want to pull off the first leaf or the second leaf, because sometimes it's kind of scarred. This particular cabbage I have is actually in pretty good shape, so I didn't have to do that. So anyways, okay, so now we're going to roll a few of these cabbage rolls. I'll roll probably 2 or 3 or 4 just to show you how it's done. And then I'll get them all together. Okay, so now we have all our cabbage rolls done, and I'm going to pour the soup over. Now you can use tomato juice. You don't have to use soup. You can use tomato juice or tomato sauce, or salsa, or diced tomatoes, whatever works for you. Some people use a combination of tomato soup and diced tomatoes. That seems to work good too. It's up to you. Now I've got my 2 cans of soup. I mixed them up ahead of time. Now the directions on the soup, when you make soup just as soup, they recommend you add 1 can of water. Now I add a little bit less than a can, maybe 3/4 of a can, because I want my sauce to be a little bit thicker. So I've mixed it all up ahead of time. I just whisked it all together. Now I'm going to pour it over top my cabbage rolls like that. Not all the way. You don't want to completely submerge them, but just enough to so you can sort of see them sticking out. And you want to make sure they have enough liquid to cook in, because that rice is going to soak up some of that liquid. Okay, so the cabbage rolls are ready to go into the oven. They got the tomato sauce all over them. We cover them with tin foil like that. I preheated my oven to 350, and they should take about 2 hours. Now we wait. Okay, so the cabbage rolls are out of the oven, and they took about 2 hours. You saw them bubbling away there. They were good and hot and certainly well cooked. So I picked out the biggest one I could find. And one thing about cabbage rolls is they do expand a little bit, because when the rice cooks, of course, it causes them to swell up. So I'm going to try this right now. I can't wait to dig into it. Okay, first thing I noticed is the cabbage is certainly cooked. It cuts very easily. I can tell you right now, this is really hot. I cut a small piece here. Oh yeah. Very hot. Very good. First thing I noticed is, like I said, the cabbage is certainly cooked. Rice is cooked. The whole thing is very flavorful. The onion, the cabbage, the tomato, the beef, all works together very well. These are excellent. Turned out very good. Now, I said at the beginning of this video, I show you how to make cabbage rolls, and that they're very easy but time consuming. Well, I just showed you, and they are very easy. So until we eat again, I'm Chef Mark from Mark's Easy Kitchen. Cheers.
Wow.
Hi, me again. When I made cabbage rolls today, I used 100% ground beef. You can also use other meats such as ground pork. Ground pork works very well. You can use ground chicken or ground turkey. Ground turkey works very good. You can also use a combination of ground beef and ground pork. What I like to use is a mixture of ground beef and ground sausage meat. That works very well. That's kind of my go-to. There's also lots of other plant-based products out there, so you can have some kind of a vegan mixture if you like, so you can use that as well. I like to use tomato soup for my sauce. Some people like the tomato juice or the V8 tomato juice or tomato sauce, whatever works for you. Throw in a can of diced tomatoes if you like, maybe some peppers, red peppers, green peppers, mushrooms. Just go ahead and have fun. Cooking can be difficult, but doesn't have to be. So you're the cook, you're the chef. Keep on cooking, and bon appetit.